page 366. Can you explain for some people how Gurudev came about this project? Like 2 minutes?
Yes, I have to find the rag. I know where the rag is on here.
Okay.
So, Vajrayana Manasukari, the song, describes how Shama and Sham, Krishna is Sham and Shama is Radha. So because she's always absorbed in Sham, Krishna, because she makes him taste Shama Rasa, which is another name of Madhu Rasa, and because she's so beautiful. Because in Vedic culture, women are in different categories. Some are called Padminis, like lotuses. Some are like elephants. There could be so many different types, good and bad. But the best type is called a Shama. Shita Kali Babet Kushna, Kushna Kali Susitala, Stanos Tatro Yasya, Sashama Parikirtita. That woman whose body is cool in the summer, but warm in the winter. And whose breast is very firm is called Shama. Shama heroine. So, such heroines are very, very rare. And even we cannot say that among them, Radhika can be counted because they are of this world. She is beyond this world. But indicating her great beauty, her great devotion to Krishna, and how she causes Sri Krishna to be absorbed in Shama Rasa. So her name is Shama. There are other meanings as well. You have to realize it, Bhajan. They're not fit for Facebook. Everyone watching at home. Sorry, you have to come to brajmandal.com. So, Radhe Sham, Raja Jana Manasukakari, Radhe Sham, Shama Sham. Radhe Sham, Shama Sham. So Gurudev describes how in Vrindavan, Sri Krishna, his earrings, he's decorated with Makrakundal earrings, with the Vaijayanti garland, with the peacock feather, how he plays his flute and enchants the gopis with his beautiful glances, how he lifts Govardhan hill, and so on. These pastimes are described in the song. Then, in the end of the song, you see, there are not so many Gaudiya bhajans in the Hindi language. And when our Gurudev noticed that Param Gurudev, Srila Bhaktipragyan Keshmaj, he liked the Hindi bhajans, he thought, let me please my Gurudev by making a Hindi bhajan which glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So after glorifying Radha and Krishna, then at the end, he says, Radha Krishna Milyabhadau Gaurupa Agata. That Shama and Sham, the two have become one in the form of Gaura. And descended into this world, what? Kirtana Dharma Pachai, to spread the Dharma of Harinam Sankirtan everywhere. And then, in the end, Gurudev said that Radha Krishna, oh, very small ones, small, yeah, like small kartals that sound like the ankle bells of gopis dancing. These big ones sound like the Battle of Kurukshetra. Yeah, a little bit big. They can be a bit bigger than that. Yeah, those really small ones, they sound like waist bells. Okay, that's perfect. See, they should not be tied together, you know.
Yeah.
To put them on the hand properly, in the traditional way, they have to be separated. But I understand why people put them together. It's like, you know, little kids when they have mittens, and they have the string joining. It's like that.
We need to do that with socks.
Oh, wait, take permission. Oh,
Okay.
He'll ask forgiveness.
So, in the end, Gurudev said that Tum bina mere ona koi nama rupa avata. Oh, Radha and Krishna, you have appeared in the form of your holy name. And in my life, I have nothing, only you. Nothing is mine, only Nam, the name of Radha and Krishna. Then he said, Charananame Balihari, when I have darshan of your lotus feet, chanting your names, then I am filled with wonder. So he wrote this poem and he showed it to Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. And when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj read it, he was overjoyed and he took a pen. He said, oh, this song is not finished. I'll add one more line. And then with his pen he wrote on the last line, Narayana Balihari. Because out of humility, Gurudev didn't put his name in the song. So then Param Gurudev, he wrote his name, Narayana Balihari, in the last line. So the song is very, very dear to us. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Amar Saniwali ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Mukta Amakra Krishna Kuhandala. Singapore. Great this night, huh? So today we finally arrive at the subject of Radha now. After a long introduction.
We had breakfast, a lot of prashad nam, and now we can. Is there enough light, Vishaka?
Thank you.
Radha Kundaram Oh Radhika Madhvasam Ratoyas Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tanatosmi Urali Kaura Chandraya Radhikai Tadari Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadvaktaya Namo Anandalila Maya Vigrahaya Emabhadyavyacchavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Bhaktavina Aparada Lakshay Chilkastakam Koram Pamade Vimamaikam Sharanam Kamayam Vrinde Namaste Sharanam Vrinde Namaste Govinda Ramo Charamaravedhi Govinda Ramo Charamaravedhi Govinda Ramo Charamaravedhi Govinda Ramo Charamaravedhi Hey Krishna, Hey Radha, Hey Sakhi, Govinda Ramo Charamaravedhi Sham Sundar Shikhanda Shikara Smaraha Sumurali Manora Radhikar Sukham Mama Kripa Nidhi Swapriya Charna Kinkarim Kuru Tavayvasmi Na Jivami Tayavana Iti Vikyaya Devi Tam Nayamam Charantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmatiya Paramaradhatama, Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada, Ashtotarastasri, Rupanuga Acharya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, and to Srila Prabhupada and all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripasindhubhyo Putitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo
We have to learn how to do the
The ladies can learn. It's not compulsory for them.
Actually, I remember one class, some man did that. Gurudev was like, who did that? It's ladies only.
Nice to know.
There you go. Now, yesterday we began the subject of Nam Tattva, the glories of the holy name. And because tomorrow is Radhastami, now we're moving to the subject of Radha Nam. Radha Nam is very confidential, very secret. But our great Paramarasik Acharya, Srila Shukadev Goswami, being the intimate associate of Srimati Radhika, being the very Shuk or parrot of Srimati Radhika, having Nishta in Radhika, he could not, though it should not be spoken in public, her great glories, he could not restrain himself. And here and there, in many places of Srimad Bhagavatam, he has hidden the Nam, the Roop, the Gun, the Leela, the form qualities, pastimes, associates, and the sweetness of Srimati Radhika throughout Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. He did not speak directly, openly, because he would faint for 6 months in ecstasy. And Parikshit Maharaj, he only has 7 days to live. He has to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. If you go in ecstasy for 6 months, then how will Parikshit Maharaj, his Srimad Bhagavatam, and attain his perfection of life? Also, we should know that only those who are Gauriya, the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his mercy, they can enter into the mysteries of Radha's Mahabhav as it is revealed very secretly in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, he said, Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Rastane. What's the next line, Maharaj? Chaitanya Charani. Yes.
You bring me back to life.
Ya Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Rastane. Tanvat Pranam. Pujapad Sri Bhaktivedanta Ashram Maharaj.
Jai.
So the meaning is, Ya Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Rastane. If you want to read, study, recite Srimad Bhagavatam, then go and sit at the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava and learn from them. Otherwise, it is not accessible. Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Rastane Ekanta Asrai Karo Chaitanya Charane, and make one pointed shelter at the feet of Prema Purushottama Sachinandan Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Bhakta Gana Nitya Karo Sangha Tabito Janibe Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. Swarup Goswami said, daily associate with the Gaura Priya Jana, the dear associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By daily associating with them and listening Gradually, what will happen? Tavito janive siddhanta samudra taranga. You can enter into the waves of Siddhanta. The ocean of Siddhanta is not still, dynamic, moving. So, only those who have taken shelter of Mahaprabhu can realize how the glories of Radharani are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Raksho daichukulam hatam ki adidam yogadi vatma kriya margo va prakati krita ki adidam srishtadikam vakyat made in yuddharakadikam ki adidam premujvalaya mahan bhakta bhaktar karim param bhagavatas chaitanya murtim stumaha. Our great Rasika Acharya, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he's saying, Raksho Daitikulam Hatam, Supreme Lord appeared in the form of Lord Nrsimhadev and killed the Daitya and his associates, Hiranyakashipu. But what benefit did anyone get from that? Did anyone get any benefit from that? Raksho Daitikulam Hatam, Lord Ramachandra came and killed Ravan and all of his associates in Lanka. But what benefit did anyone really get from it? Yogadi Bhatma Kriya. Naranarayan Rishi incarnated and taught the path of yoga and jnana and sadhana. And Kapil Dev incarnated and taught Sankhya philosophy. But what benefit did anyone get from that? Shristadikam Bhatyat. Mahavishnu created the world and maintains the Dharma. But what was the point? Made in Yuddhadikarikam ki adidam premujvalaya mahan. When the earth was taken from its orbit by Hiranyaksha and fell in the Garbhadak ocean, the Lord Varahadev came and saved the world. But what was the use? Whatever any incarnation has ever done or ever given, it's all worthless without Ujjalaya Mahan. If Sri Krishna and Radhika had not combined in the form of Gaurachandra and appeared in this world to distribute Unnata Ujjwala Rasam Swabhakti Sriyam, the Nikunda Sheva of Srimati Radhika in Vrindavan, then it would all be useless. So therefore, I am taking shelter of Sachinandan Gauri. We cannot do it, but Prabodhananda Saraswati, in his ecstasy of realizing how great is the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he can tell all these other incarnations what have they done. It's his ecstasy. And in comparison, what Mahaprabhu is giving, there is no comparison. Anarpita Acharin Charat, it was never given before. So, if we want to know what kind of nectar is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ekanta Asray Karo Chaitanya Charani, be in the association of Gaurapriya Jan, Mahaprabhu's devotees in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, and be in one-pointed devotion to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Then the possibility comes. Because Raso Gupta Eva Rasatmakam Apadyate. It is said that when rasa is hidden, then it becomes very intense. Rasa should be hidden, not open. And so Shukadev Goswami has hidden the rasa of Radhika's Nam, Rup, Gun, Lila, Parikara, and all sweetness and qualities in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now someone may have a doubt. Oh, I have read it, but I did not see the glories of Radharani anywhere. Yes, yes. Because there's a process. If I give you some Mehendi leaves, you know Mehendi? Who knows Mehendi? Ever? Yeah, you know Mehendi. If an Indian lady or in Vedic culture, before they get married, then their hands and their body has to be decorated with the Mehendi. Right? Henna.
Henna.
So, It's a red patterns, very beautiful red patterns. But if you take the henna leaves, the mehendi, what color are they?
Green.
Yeah, they're not red. So can you see the red, the rag in the mehendi in the henna leaves? You cannot see it. So in the same way, ordinary person, though it's there in Srimad Bhagavatam, they cannot see the rag, the anurag, the deep love of Radhika expressed there. So just as there's a process to experience the rag, the redness of the henna leaves. What is that? First, the saki of that girl who's being decorated. Then she'll have to come and grind up the leaves. Make them crush into small paste. Small powder and paste. Very small particles. Crush. And then she'll apply it on the hands of her saki. And then have to wait. And then after some time, then when it's removed, then you can see the rag, the redness of the leaves. So in the same way, when we come in the association of Rasik Vaishnavas, then they take each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and they take apart every syllable, every letter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhusavasrai Pratisloke, no, Prati Akkare Nan Artakai, Mahaprabhu said. Srimad Bhagavatam is great. As Krishna is the shelter of everything, Srimad Bhagavatam is also the shelter of everything. Pratisloke in every verse, no. Akkare in every syllable. Not one meaning in every syllable. Each syllable has many, many meanings. So in this way, the Rasik Vaishnavas are taking the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam and bringing out many, many meanings. And then the disciple, whose heart has become, the surface of his heart has become cleansed by Guru Seva and by chanting Harinam, then that Rasik Vaishnava, taking the many meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam, that paste, will smear it on the clean heart of his disciple. And then you have to wait. That means by gradually serving and hearing, wait for what? Kada karisyasi hamam kripa katashavajana. Radha's kripa will come. And when Radha's kripa will come, then tears will come from the eyes and then wash away that paste, and there you will see shining the rag. Oh, in every word of Srimad Bhagavatam, the anurag, the mahabhav, the deep love, the form, the name, the qualities, pastimes and associates of Srimati Radhika will shine from all the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the process. So, this morning, I want to discuss a little about the 10th canto, Dasamaskanda, Krishna's smiling face, and how Radhika is being described there. So, we'll come, 10th canto, the first chapter, second chapter is all about the demigods praying for Krishna to appear and Krishna's appearance in the prison cell, Vasudeva Devaki, that's all that. Right? So the Braj Leela is starting here, especially 10th canto in chapter 5. So in the beginning of the 10th canto, chapter 5, there is the description of what happened when Krishna was born. Did anyone see our class on Janmashtami? Anyone? I will not describe all of that today. You can go back and listen to a few hours of the birth pastime of Krishna.
Oh, we have time.
I give a little bit because we want to discuss Radhika. So there, in the first verse, Shukadeva Goswami says, Nandas Twatmaja Utpanne Jata Lada Mahamanaha Ahuya Vipran Veda Gyan Snato Suchi Elankritaha. Nanda Maharaj, Nandas Twatmaja Utpanne, he was Jata Alada. He was overjoyed. He was completely overjoyed that a son had been born to him. Atmaja, his own son. Don't think Krishna is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. You can think like that. if you're a Mathura Basi. But no Brajabasi will say that Krishna is son of Vasudeva and Devaki. That was Krishna's first expansion, Vasudeva Krishna, Vaibhav Prakash. Original Krishna is born from the womb of Yashoda in Braja, and now he's been born. Nanda Maharaj, he's so happy. Jatalada Mahamana. So, on that morning, his sister, Sananda, came from the Prasutigara, from the maternity ward where Krishna had been born, and came to Nanda Maharaj and said, "Oh, you have a son has been born." And Nanda Maharaj was very happy because he was quite old. He was about 80 years old and he had no child. And for a long time he wanted a child. And even the other Brijbasis, they were doing yagyas. Usually if you want a child, you can do a yagya to get a child. But the Brijbasis were so concerned that Nanda Maharaj should have a child that they were doing yagyas for him. Huh? Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda came together. "Oh, do you know what they're doing?" Yes, they're doing yagyas for us to have a child. Huh? Nanda Maharaj said it will not be successful. Why not? Because by karma, you can get, karma is material, you can get an ordinary child. But in my dream, I saw a child that was so beautiful. No karma yagya could bring such a child. With very beautiful lotus eyes and reddish lips and the small teeth like drops of milk. Decorated with the kajal on his eyes and dots of kajal here, on his palms of his hands and soles of his feet to protect him from the buji nasha. From evil eye. With the ankle bells. Very, very charming, with fat cheeks. Beautiful baby. I saw in my dream. Never such a baby could come from Karma Kanda Yagas. Mother Yashoda said, "I heard that all desires can come true by strictly following Ekadasi." So Nanda Maharaj said, "This is very good advice," and the two of them began to follow very strict Ekadasi Brat and Dwadasi Brat for a whole year. And then one day, Mother Yashoda Devi, she served Nanda Maharaj and Sri Krishna in her womb. How do we know? Mother Yashoda is a sadhvi. That's female sadhu, it's called sadhu. Mother Yashoda is a sadhvi. She's very self-restrained, very self-controlled. All her senses are in control. But now she was feeling cravings. Pregnant women, they feel cravings. So now Mother Yashoda was feeling cravings. I want to have a big pile of makan with a tulsi leaf on it somehow. Who was really hungry? So makan chua was already there. But don't forget the tulsi leaf. So like this, a pregnancy was going on. And gradually this day came in the Krishna Paksha, in the dark fortnight of the month of Bhadra on the Astami at midnight, Krishna was born. So Nanda's Tattva Jagutpane Jatalada Mahamana. Oh, now hearing the news from his sister, Nanda Maharaj is so happy. So just at that time, Ahuya Vipram Vedagyan. Then the Vipras, the Brahmins, who are Vedagyan, know all the Vedas, how to do all the ceremonies, sanskars. They arrived there at the house of Nanda Maharaj. Like Kalki. He can do all the jagyas and everything. When I see him, he reminds me of this pastime. They go Vipra. You know what Vipra means? V means Vishesh, especially. Pra means Prati, return. Vipra, anything you give to a Brahmin, it will come back to you 1,000 times in return. It's called Vipra. So the Brahmanas came there, telling Nanda Maharaj, Badai, Badai, Badai! Congratulations, congratulations! Nanda Maharaj is very funny, he was very dry humor. So, why congratulations? The Brahman said, you cannot cheat us. We know you have a son. Because we have made an astrological calculation and your son was born last night. And we have made his horoscope. And then the Brahmins, they gave the horoscope to Nanda Maharaj and he took it and touched it to his head. And then went and put it in in a respectable high place in his house. So Ahuya Vipraveda Gyan. Then Nanda Maharaj, he said, I've never had a son before. What do I have to do now? So the Vipra said, well, first you have to do Snan. Ahuya Vipraveda Gyan, Snata Suchi Alankrita. Shukadeva Goswami is describing everything. So then Nanda Maharaj set off for his ceremonial baths after a child is born. Oh, with Brahmanas chanting Vedic mantras, musicians beating drums and blowing horns. Actually, the horns were so ecstatic, they're just blowing themselves, even without the musicians. Jata there's so much joy. And he set off to the Jamuna. And he came there to the Ghat, and there was a big high, you know, the piers that go out with the pagodas on the top. This style, they are there. So he didn't go down the steps to get in the water, because Nanda Baba is a very good swimmer. So he went to the high tower, and then from there, he dived off. In and perfect, 10 out of 10. Dived into the water, only a little water splashed like this. And that splash, it was like, you know, you're supposed to worship your ancestors by making tarpana, offerings of water. When Nanda Maharaj dove into the Jamuna and the water splashed to celebrate the appearance of his son, oh, it was like a tarpana and all his ancestors were dancing. Then he swam underwater, long distance, and everyone was standing on the side looking, what happened to Nanda Baba? Where's Nanda Baba? They thought he may have been washed away in the current, because you know last night was heavy rain. Heavy rain on the night Krishna was born. So they're looking. And then suddenly Nanda Maharaj, in the middle of the Jamuna, he jumped up out of the water. Ha! I'm here! Everyone, hey, come on, don't. He was swimming around. I said, there's no time, there are many things to do today, come on. Just take your bath, come out of the water. But he was in so much ecstasy. Nanda Baba is very grave. But now, because of his joy, Jata Lada Mahamana, he was playing in the water of Jamuna. So he quickly came to the side. Then he asked the Brahmins, what do you do next? Jata, it's not a Suchi. Suchi means you are not Suchi, pure or clean, just by taking a bath. If you take a bath, you're not clean. When you're clean, after you put on your tilak. So then Nanda Maharaj with all mantras put on tilak in 12 parts of his body. And then he began to get dressed in very nice silk cloth with gold and silver threads in it. Put on a beautiful dhoti, very long, beautiful shirt. And he took a big, colorful cloth and tied it around. He has like a belly kind of hanging down, so he tied it tight and lifted his belly up. Because it's a special day. Then he put rings on every toe and rings on every finger. He put on so many bangles, one bangle with an elephant on it, then many bangles, and closed it with a bangle with the mouth of a lion on both arms. He put on beautiful earrings and beautiful garlands, and he put on a turban. Very, very nice. Then he put on a white peacock feather on one side. White, pure white peacock. And on the other side, a very beautiful ornament of a flower made out of jewels. Then he got the ends of his moustache to go like this. And he took a golden stick and he was ready. Everyone said, wow, how beautiful. He was never a foppish person. You know, foppish person, a dandy. They like to look extra suave and fashionable. So he just dressed in a very sober way. But now his son was born. All the ornaments. Yeah? Some of his old friends, they began to criticize them because in Braj, you know, they criticize each other all the time. Because that's love. You see, if you don't know someone very well, so, oh yes sir, excuse me sir. Like this, you give respect. But when you're really close and you have love, then what you do? Teasing. Teasing. Always teasing. So Braj is like this. So one old man said to Nanda Baba, look at this brother, he's 80 years old and he's dressing like this. Nanda Baba said, you may be old, but I'm not old, I just had a son. So, Snarta Suchi Alankritaha. Then Shukadeva Goswami is saying how Nanda Maharaj decorated himself. This is a very long Qatar of the appearance of Krishna. You can watch the lecture from Janmashtami. But Shukadeva Goswami describes here in chapter 5 of the 10th canto, in 18 verses, he describes Tattva, the joy of the appearance of Krishna. Tattva, in 18 verses. But in this verse, verse 18, he's saying something else. Tata arabhya nandasya braja sarva samriddhiman hare nivasatma guna ramakridam abunrpa. So if you read the translation, then it will explain how from that time, he's just been describing the celebration of Krishna's appearance. From that time, then Brajamandal, Nandasya of Nanda Maharaj, Sarva Samriddhiman, became full of opulences. It was flourishing in every respect. Why? Hare Nivasatma Gunair. Because of the qualities. Its qualities, it is the eternal abode. Hare Nivas. It is the eternal abode of Hari. Rama Kridam Abunripaha. And it became Rama Kridan, the playing place of Rama, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Rama Kridan Abunripaha. So, this verse is very important because the celebration of the Nandotsav, after the first day when Krishna was born, then the family have to go into the stage of Asoch, their untouchability, after the birth of a child for 10 days. So the main celebration was after that. And that is described in the next verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then at the end of that, tata means then after that. So generally people say, tata arabhya, after that time that Krishna was born, then Braj became full of all opulence and flourishing because it was the playing place of Lakshmi. But the actual meaning is, if you look at the sequence, Krishna was born, there was a celebration, there were the 10 days of Soch, then there was the major celebration with all the Brijvasis in Nandagaon after the period of untouchability. Then after that, Arabhya. Here, the A is lam. It indicates Krishna's Shakti. Tatra Arabhya. After that, then Radharani was born. It was Radhastami. And from that moment that Radhika appeared in Braj, then it was flourishing and beautiful and became Rama Kridam Abun. It became Rama Krida, the playing place of Rama. Rama, the goddess of fortune. So there's a rule in hermeneutics, in Shastric interpretation. And what is that? If the word Sri or Rama is used in the context of Vaikuntha, it means Mahalakshmi. If the word Sri or Rama is used in the context of Ayodhya or Janakpuri, it means Sita. If the word Sri or Rama, Rukmine Dwaravattam tu Radha Vrindavane Bane. If the word Sri or Rama is used in the context of Dwarka, it refers to Rukmini. And if the word Sri is used in context of Braj, Radha Vrindavane Bane, it refers to Radha. So here Shukadeva Goswami is describing Radhastavi Maha Mahotsava ki Jai. So the Rasikacharyas have said that this verse is the Mangala Charanam of the 10th canto. What kind, Mangala Charanam means in the beginning there should be Vastu Nirdeshatmaka Mangala Charanam, defining what is this poem about. Vastu Nirdesh Mangala Charanam means an auspicious invocation which tells you what is this really all about. Nirdesh defines the vastu, the substance. And there should be a namaskriatmak Mangala Charanam, paying obeisances to the object of your love, to your Ishtadev. So because Shukadeva Goswami is a great devotee of Radhika, actually says, Sri Shuka Uvacha, Sri Shuka Uvacha. Why Sri Shuka Uvacha? Sri means beautiful. Because when Shukadev Goswami described the appearance of Radharani, all his hairs were standing on end. He was covered in horripilation. You know, goosebumps. And tears were flowing from his eyes. He was trembling. So he became beautifully decorated with Asta Sattvika Bhav, so Sri Shuka Uvacha. And also, when a child is born and there's a ceremony, a festival to celebrate, in Braj, what do? They all sing and dance and throw yogurt. It's like Holi, but with yogurt. You should try it, it's amazing. Everyone's slipping all over the place, and yogurt everywhere. So they're doing like a Holi with yogurt to celebrate, and because Shukadev Goswami is so absorbed in the appearance pastimes of Radharani, just like perhaps you have heard, the one devotee, Srinivasa Acharya, once in his meditation, he was meditating on the holy of Radha Krishna, and when he came out from his meditation, he had the colors on his cloth. So when Shukadev Goswami was absorbed in seeing in his trance the beautiful festival of Radhastami, the appearance of Srimati Radharani, where everyone was throwing yogurt, as Shukadev Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, the yogurt began to appear on his face and on his body. So, Sri Shuka Uvacha. He was beautified by the yogurt of that festival, which was from his trance manifesting there due to his intense praying. So, Sri Shuka Uvacha, Shukadev Goswami here is doing the Vastu Nirdesh Mangala Charnam and the Namaskriatmaka Mangala Charnam. He's giving pranam to his Ishtadevi, Radharani. And he's defining what is this 10th canto all about. Radhe 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe. So this is the Mangala Charnam, Vastu Nirdeshatmaka and Namaskriyatak Mangala Charnam. Shukadev Goswami is in ecstasy, and Rama Kridam Abunripaha. This Braja became Rama Kridam. Rama is a name of Radhika. It means who makes Krishna relish Raman, amorous loving pastimes. So his name is Radharaman, but he only becomes Radharaman when Rama, Radhika, infuses him with the Sringaras, Madhurasa. So then, you can go to the next slide. If anyone has a doubt, are the pastimes of Radharani described in Srimad Bhagavatam? First we have shown Radhastami, the birth of Radhika is described. Now we come to another verse. This is now coming to chapter 8. Gargacharya was sent by Vasudev Maharaj to go to Gokul Mahavan and meet with Nanda Maharaj to do Krishna's Nam Karan Sanskar, name-giving ceremony. So it was done secretly in the Goshala, because if it will be done openly, then someone may see, oh, why is Vasudev Maharaj's Purohit, priest, doing the Nam Karan of Nanda Maharaj's son? And then they'll suspect that the son of Nanda Maharaj is the son of Vasudev. And then Kamsa will try to harm him. So Vasudev Maharaj has sent Gargacharya to do this Nam Karan Sanskar secretly in the Goshala. Very appropriate for Gopal. So there, Gargacharya said to Nanda Maharaj, Tasman Nandatmajo Yamte Narayana Samo Gunai Suyakirtanubhavina Gopayasya Samahita. The meaning is that, oh Nanda Maharaj, your son, Nandatmaja, means your son. So he's saying the actual Siddhanta that Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj, not Vasudeva. Narayana Sumogunai, he has qualities like Narayan. What does that mean? Siddhanta Tosta Vedevi Srisa Krishna Sarupaya Rasama Krishate Krishna Rupamesha Rasastiti. It is said that from the point of view of Siddhanta, Krishna and Lord Narayan, they are bathed the same. They're both God. So they are both Bhagavan from the point of view of Tattva. But from the point of view of rasa, Krishna is far, far superior. So Narayana Samogunai means, oh Nanda Maharaj, from the point of view of Siddhanta, your son has qualities just like Narayana. But he did not tell about, but he's superior by rasa. But he did give some hint. Then he's saying, Gopasya Samahita, you should take care of this boy. And if you take care of this boy, then all opulence, everything around him will become full of beauty, and fame. But the inner meaning of this is, Sriya is instrumental case. It can mean by, who is doing, or it can also mean with. So he has appeared in this world, Sriya, with Radhika. And who is Radhika? Kirtyanubhavena, the daughter of Kirtidamaya. Kirtyanubhavena means the daughter of Kirtidamaya. Gopayasva means keep it a secret. Keep it a secret. And do the Yugal Upasana, the service of Yugal. That is instruction to us, the world. Or the people of the world. Gargacharya is indirectly telling, oh Gopayasva, secretly do Yugal Upasana, worship Krishna, Nandatmaja, along with Sri Kirtidaputri, the daughter of Kirtidamaya. So, then, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many names of Radharani there. So wherever you'll see Rama, wherever you'll see Sri, sometimes you see the word Gopi. But here Gopi means Radhika. Go means rasa and pi means pibati. She who drinks all the rasa of Krishna's sweetness. Gopi is Radhika. Gopi Jana Vallabha. Jana means the other gopis. Gopi means Gopi Jana. Radha and her Sakhis. Gopi Jana. So Gopi in the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami is hiding the identity of Radhika there. Sometimes he uses the word Indira. Indira. Jayati Chaidikam Janmana Braja Sraita Indira Shashwadatta. This Braj really became beautiful when it was decorated by Indira, Radhika. Sometimes he uses the word Brajesha Sutta. Bhaktam Brajesha Sutayor Anuvenu Jushtam Yavani Pita Manorakta Kataksham. Oh, have you seen the two here? Sutayor is in the dual case. It means the two sons of the king of Braj, Krishna and Balaram. But actually, it's referring, there are two kings of, not the two sons of the kings of Braj. The grammar can also be understood as the son and the daughter of the two kings, Nanda Maharaj and Vrishabhanu Maharaj. So gopis are saying, Vatram Brajesha Sutayo Anuvenu Dushtam. So in this way, many ways, the glories of Radhika are described in various verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, we can come to the next verse. Perhaps you know in the Rasa Lila, see Krishna, he was dancing with all Braj gopis. But some of the gopis, they became proud. Krishna is only dancing with me. And because of this, they were not giving the sufficient respect to Radharani. Radharani saw that Krishna was dancing with everyone. And she became in man. And she wanted to leave. But then Krishna, he left with her. So Radha and Krishna left from the Rasa Lila. And all Braj gopis were searching here and there, looking. So they were searching here and there, asking the trees, asking the creepers, asking Tulsi Devi in the forest, oh, have you seen Krishna anywhere? But they thought, oh, the trees don't answer us. Why? Because they're male. And male, they cannot understand soft heart of a woman. So they didn't answer. Kachit Tulsi Kalyani, Govinda Charnapriye, Sahatvali Kulapit Brad, Dishaste Tepi Priyochita, "Oh, Tulsi, did you see Krishna?" Tulsi did not give an answer also. Why? Because if someone is proud, they neglect others. So because she's always on the feet, Tulsi leaves are always on the feet of Krishna, or on Krishna's garland. So that, she cannot understand our misfortune because she's so fortunate. How can a fortunate person understand how an unfortunate person feels? So there was, who will give mercy to them? So do you know who gave mercy to them? Brajaraj. The dust of Vrindavan gave mercy. Because looking down there in the dust of Vrindavan, they saw Krishna's footprints. But next to the footprints of Krishna, very beautiful, clearly showing the signs of the chakra and the flag and the club and the swastika and so many other auspicious signs on Krishna's lotus feet, which was quite deep because Krishna is heavier. But next to Krishna's lotus footprints were some footprints which were more shallow, a lighter person, and smaller, and quite frankly more beautiful. And they thought, oh, he left us all, but he's left with another gopi. So, some gopi spoke this verse. Anaya radito nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishvara Yano Vihaya Govinda Prito Yam Anayadraha. Anaya means by this gopi, aradito. Krishna must have been served most perfectly by this gopi. Why? Yano Vihaya Govinda Prito Yam Anayadraha. Krishna has abandoned all of us just to be with her. That doesn't mean that her love is more than any particular gopi of Vrindavan. That means her love is more than all of the gopis in Vrindavan put together. Understand? Yeah. So they're amazed. Actually, it was not Radharani Sakis who spoke this verse. Because Radharani Sakis recognized Radharani's footprints. And seeing it, they became in so much ecstasy, they could not speak. It wasn't Chandravali and her Sakis, because they also recognize Radharani's footprints. Because her Sakis are always looking to see where Krishna has been, to see if Radharani's footprints are there. You know, they're like detectives. All the groups, the rival groups, they're spying on each other all the time. So Chandravali's group, they also recognized. But they didn't say anything because they were so jealous they could not speak. The Tatasta group, the neutral group, they also didn't say anything because they're Tatasta, they're neutral. They don't care. So who spoke this? Surit Paksh. The friendly group, Shamala and her Sakis, they're friends to Radharani's group here. And Shukadev Goswami is hearing Shamala and her group saying this verse, and it's coming from his mouth. Anaya Radhito Lunam. He's almost speaking the name of Radha here, glorifying her as the supreme beloved of Sri Krishna. Acha. Good. Okay. This verse, very beautiful. Bahum priyang supadaya grihita padmo Rama jujas tulasikali kulamadandel and viyamana iyavastarava pranamam kimvabi nandati charan pranayavalokai. How much rasa is in each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam? Can you see the name of Radhika there? I give you 10 seconds to find it.
Priyanusa.
Second line.
Priyanusa.
Second line, first word, Ram, because it's Rama. Rama is a short, the first A is short and the second A is long. So that's Rama. So that Rama actually means Balaram. Can you find?
The last word.
The last word? Pranayavalokai. Priya, yes, correct, Maharaj. Priya, Priyatama. Priya is Radhika and Priyatama. Her most dear one is Krishna, Priya Priyatama. So Priya is the name of Radhika, and this name of Radhika also appears many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bahum Priyam Supadaya Grihita Padmo Ramanujas Tulasikali Kalamadande. This is very How Radhika's glories are described here? I'll try to give a little vision. It's said here, basically, Shukadeva Goswami is saying that when the gopis were searching for Krishna, they found his footprints. Then they saw Radhika's footprints with him, and they were following that. And now they're trying to find where is Krishna and this very special gopi who is with him. Now this verse was actually spoken by the Manjaris. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Manjaris have spoken this verse. They're saying, speaking to the trees, they saw that the trees were bowing, their branches were heavy with fruit and flowers, and they were bowing down. So seeing the trees bowing down, they thought that Krishna and his lover must have walked by this way, because the trees, seeing them in ecstasy, they would, just like you have hair standing on end, the trees burst into flower. And then the fruits of love appear, and then they become heavy with the flowers and fruits, and they bow down to Radha and Krishna as they're walking through the forest. So when the Manjaris saw the trees in this condition of ecstasy, on tears in the form of honey dripping from their the honeycomb of the bumblebees. So when the Manjaris saw the trees in this condition, then they asked, have you seen Ramanuja? That means Anuja, the younger brother of Rama, Balaram. Have you seen the younger brother of Rama walking this way, Bahum, with his arm on the shoulder, Priyansa, on the shoulder of Radhika? Have you seen? He's got his left hand on the shoulder of Radhika, and Upadaya Grihita Padmo, and he's holding in his right hand a lotus flower. So Radhika's here, Krishna's got a lotus flower in his right hand, and they're walking through the forest, and all the trees are in ecstasy. Have you seen this? And Tulasali Kula Madande, they saw that there was a swarm of bees intoxicated, blind with intoxication and humming. The bees humming the part, the fifth note. Sarigama pa pa pa. This note. So the bees are maddened, and they're maddened by what? Ali means bee. Kula means there's a group. Ali Kula, Tulasi, they're maddened by the fragrance of Tulsi. Madanda, and they become blind. And they're following them. So as Radha Krishna walk through, followed by bumblebees maddened. The bumblebees are not looking to see Krishna or Radha. They're blinding in ecstasy. They close their bumblebee eyes and they're just following the fragrance. And at that time, Amviyamana Hiyavastarava Pranaman. Oh trees, when you bow down to Radha and Krishna, Kimva Binandati. Did they welcome you? Did they recognize you? Pranayavalokan, by giving you a loving glance. Right? If someone comes and gives pranam to you, don't just walk off. Right? If someone comes and gives pranam to you, at least the advanced Vaishnava should look very mercifully with a loving glance. There's no injunction that the Madhyam Adhikari has to return the pranam of a Kanishta Adhikari. Actually. Because they may not understand and think, oh, he's like me. So, then that person may give a loving glance, and when they stand up, give them an embrace. So, the Manjaris have a doubt whether or not Krishna gave a loving glance to the trees when they bowed down. They have a doubt. That's why they're asking the question. Because if the trees bowed down and it was certain that Krishna would glance them, there would be no need to ask the question. Understand? This is called poetry, Dhvani, the suggestion of the poetry. So in this verse, the Manjaris are thinking, oh, trees, Kim Vabhinandati. Krishna didn't accept your pranams. Why? Because Ramanuja, he's the brother of Balaram. You know, Balaram is famous. What's Balaram famous for? Go to the museum in Mathura, where they have the ancient statues of Balaram. In the iconography of Balaram, he's always depicted with
Wow.
a goblet full of wine.
Oh, honey.
Right? A goblet full of wine.
Honey wine.
You know he drinks Varuni? Balaram is very famous for drinking Varuni and getting drunk.
Yeah.
Right? You see, because he's the son of Vasudeva and Rohini. That's the Madhu dynasty, Madhupuri. Madhupuri means the city of liquor. Everyone in the Yadu dynasty are famous for getting drunk. Right? How did they disappear from this world?
Getting drunk.
Right? They all got drunk, right? So, the Manjiris are saying, Ramanujas, that younger brother of Balaram, then he was probably so drunk, he was so intoxicated, drinking the nectar of his heroine's lips, that when you gave pranam to him, he probably didn't even look at you. This is the rest of the verse, understand? Wow. So, very, very beautiful. But the thing is, it said that the bumblebees are following the fragrance of the tulsi. But it doesn't mention that Krishna is wearing a tulsi garland. It just says they're following the fragrance of tulsi. What is the meaning? Now, if you study very carefully the Rasa Panchadhyaya, Krishna in this Leela wears 3 different garlands. First of all, it is said, Upagiyaman Udgayan Vanita Shatayutapa Vibradmalam Vaijantim Vyacharan Mandanam Banam. When Krishna was singing, Upagiyamana Udgayan, and the gopis were singing in return. Krishna sings, then the gopis sing. Then Krishna sings, and the gopis sing. And in this way, they're kind of having a singing competition. Upagiyamana Udgayan. Yamini Kritaruchi Suchikantis Chandrika Balabhibhavilkata Sri Satpadhali Lalita Kalagita Pasyabhati Kumudakara Esha. Krishna said, he's singing, oh, this is a beautiful night. And this clear, crystal clear lake is illuminated by the very beautiful rays of the moon. It's full of kumud flowers and satpadali. That means those who have satpada, 6 legs. That means bumblebees are humming and singing. So the atmosphere is so beautiful. Krishna's singing. And when the gopis hear it, then they sing in return. You know, it's call and response. But because the gopis are so absorbed in Krishna, when they do the response, they change the meaning. It's no longer describing the beauty of the moon and the lake and the flowers and the bumblebees. Instead of saying, Yamini Kritaruchi Suchikantis Chandrika Balabhibhavikadasri, they say, Kamini Kritaruchi Suchikantis Chandrika Balabhibhavikadasri. Instead of saying, Shatpadali, Lalita Kalagita, Pasyabhati Kumudakara Esha, they say, Satpadali. There are 3 S's in Sanskrit, sh and s. So they changed the S from sh to s. And Satpadali means, oh, Krishna is so beautiful on this night, and he is singing poetry of Satpada, very beautiful composition. Pada means a line of poetry, so Krishna is singing in Satpada. So in this way, Krishna sings one thing, gopis do the return, only changing 2 syllables. And instead of glorifying the moon, Chandra Paksha, it becomes Krishna Paksha. Astonishing. So the Rasalila is going on like this. They're singing beautifully. Vanita Shatayutapa in many yutas. That means Radharani's group, Chandravali's group, the Tatastha Paksh, Vipaksh, Surit Paksh, all the groups are singing. And Vibrad Vaijantim, Malam Vaijantim. Krishna's wearing a Vaijanti garland. Vaijanti garland means 5 types of colored flowers and very long, going down all the way to the feet. This is called a Vaijanti garland. This is one garland. Okay, keep going through Rasa Panchadhyaya. Then you come to the verse. Kachit tulsi kalyani govinda charana priyai sahatwali gula bibrat jasastete priyochuta. When gopis said to Tulsi, oh Tulsi, have you seen Krishna? They said, sahatwali gula bibrat, wearing a garland of your leaves and manjaris. So this is Krishna. Krishna's got 2 garlands. A Vaijanti mala and a Tulsi mala. Now when the gopis were searching, following the footprints of Radha and Krishna, and they found them, then again the Manjari spoke. Apyena patya pagata priyaeva gatrais tanvan vrisham sakisunevrita aktitova kantanga sanga kuchakunkuma ranjitaya Kundasraja kulapate apivati gandaha. They were walking through the forest and they saw some deer, female deer. The wives of the male deer or the female deer. And they saw Sunevrita Achatova, that the eyes of the deer were huge. So when someone is, in ecstasy, then their pupils dilate. So they saw that the eyes of the deer were so huge. Why? Because they were in ecstasy. Now the Manjaris know how to get these big eyes. How do Manjaris get these big eyes? Seeing Radha and Krishna. So the Manjaris, Sarvabhuteshu Yapasyat Bhavamatmanaha. This is the nature of the Mahabhagavad. They see their own mood in everyone else. So when the Manjaris saw the big eyes of the deer, they thought, aha! You must have seen Radha and Krishna going this way in the forest. So, apena patya bhagata priyayeva. Priya, here again Priya. Have you seen Krishna priyayeva with his beloved eva gatra? Tanvan drisham saki sunivrit atyatova. And then the deer looked at the Manjaris and then looked the other way. And then looked at the Manjaris and looked the other way. The Manjaris said, look, the deer want to show us where Radha and Krishna are hiding. So then the deer began to slowly walk away. And the Manjaris started to follow that deer. So gradually they followed the deer to a particular place. And when they got to that particular place, suddenly the deer disappeared into the darkness of the forest. They ran. So then the Manjaris thought, Radha Krishna, they must be somewhere here. Kantanga Sangha Kucha Kunkuma Ranjitaya Kundasraja Kulapate Apivati Gandaha. How do we know that Radha Krishna just must have been here a few minutes ago? Because we can smell a breeze was blowing. And the breeze was carrying the fragrance. Kantanga Sangha Kucha Kunkuma. Radharani's breast is decorated with kumkum. Very beautiful vermilion is smeared on her breast. And Kundasraja means a garland of kunda flowers. They're small white flowers, like jasmine, small white with a special fragrance. So the Manjaris that smelled the breeze, and they're very familiar with the fragrance of Krishna's kunda garland. And they're also very familiar with the fragrance of the kumkum on the body of cosmetic on the body of Radhika. And they could smell the two fragrances mixed together in the breeze. So then they, and as they smelled that fragrance, they had the spurti of Radha and Krishna's meeting. Because in Uddipana makes this the spurti. Actually, very confidentially, we can say that because the two fragrances were mixed together, completely mixed, that it was not only the Gandha Samyog, the meeting of fragrances, but it was a Gandha Shankar, the actual mixture of two fragrances, completely mixed. So then, not only did they have the spurti of Radha and Krishna, but when they smelled the two fragrances mixed together, they had a spurti of Gaur Swarup. Radha Krishna Milya Badohu Gaur sang this song. Just for a moment. So then the Manjaris became stunned. Where can we find Radha and Krishna? So Kundasraja Kulapate Apivati Ganda means on the breeze there's a fragrance of kumkum and Kundasraja, a garland made of kunda flowers. So how many garlands does Krishna have now? 3. One Vajayanti Mala, one Tulsi Mala, and
Jasmine.
one kunda flower. Kunda flower. So, Navajalada Gatro, Nila Sona Chanitro, Mragamadavara Balo, Malati Kunda Malo. Radhika's wearing Malati, Krishna's wearing Kunda flower. Tarala Taruna Vesho, Nila Pitambaresho, Smaranivritani Kunje, Radhika Krishna Chandro. Nivritani Kunja, Astaka, Rupa Goswami. So, Radhika wears Malati garland, Krishna wears Kunda garland. So 3 garlands. But now we're discussing this verse. How Radhika is in this verse. Bahum priyangs upadaya grihita padmo ramaj tulasikali kulamadanda. The gopis are saying the bumblebees are blinded with intoxication following the fragrance of tulsi. But they didn't say mala. So what is the dwani? The dwani, the hidden meaning of this beautiful poetry. Gopi speaking poetry, naturally, without thinking, full of rasa. The meaning is this, that when Radha and Krishna met and embraced and enjoyed their loving pastimes, Krishna's Vaijayantimala was broken and flowers scattered everywhere on the flower bed in the Kunj. His Tosimala broke and went everywhere. His Kundamala broke and went everywhere. So Krishna's not wearing any malas at all. But the secret is that when Radha and Krishna meet together, unite, then after that pastime, a very beautiful fragrance emanates from the Sri Vigraha of Radhika. And that is the fragrance of Tulsi. This is why Tulsi. If Krishna said, Tulasi jalamatrena, Tulasi jalamatrena, Jasya chulakena cha, Vikrintes atmanam, bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. If someone offers me a Tulsi leaf, I cannot find anything to repay them. I sell myself to that person. Why? Because the fragrance of Tulsi Manjris is the fragrance that emanates from the body of Radhika after her meeting with Krishna. So here, Ramanujas, Krishna is intoxicated from loving pastimes with Radhika. And the bees, they're not following to get honey from the Tulsi Manjris. They're blind, they cannot see anything. But they're following the fragrance of Radhika as she's walking with Krishna's left arm on her shoulder, and he's holding a lotus flower because the bumblebee is trying to land on the body of Radhika and Krishna's brushing them away. Grihita Padmo. This is the meaning of the verse. So in this way, the Manjaris, only by smelling the fragrance and seeing the trees bowing down, they're having the sporti of Radha Krishna's beautiful Bon Bihar walking in the forest, and how Radhika is the Swadina Bhatakanaya, completely controlled Krishna, and Krishna is embracing her and serving her, driving away the bumblebees with a Grihita Padmo, with a lotus flower in his hand. Who is it who said Radharani's glories are not in the Bhagavad? Who said? Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Ekantara Soitya Chaitanya Charane, those who take shelter of Mahaprabhu and be in the company of his Brajrasic Vaishnavas, then they will see when the verses of Bhagavatam are chewed and put on the heart of the pure heart of the disciple, then Radha's Kripa will come and you'll see all the Leela of Radha Krishna there in Srimad Bhagavatam. See, do you have time for a few more verses?
Yes.
I have to ask that. Because the managers, I don't really get on the wrong side of the managers, I need them.
We're running one more verse.
One more verse. Oh. But there are 3. And I have to choose one.
We can do the other.
Now I've become stunned by indecision. Paralyzed by indecision.
The other 2 tonight.
That's joking. So, then we'll do them in order. The next verse. This one. Evam madato jitaloka veda swanam hivomai anuvritta ebala maya paraksham bhajatati rohitam masuyatam mahata tatpriyam priyaha. Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds.
Priya.
Try to find.
Priya.
Radharani's name is like at least 5 times in this verse.
Priya.
So Priya, yes? That's one. Another? Swa, his own. Yeah, actually, sometimes Radha's name is Atma because she's Krishna's Atma. Swa Atma, his own soul and so on. So, Acha. Okay, so the meaning of this verse is this. Perhaps you know that after some time, Krishna also abandoned Radhika. He'd enjoyed pastimes with her, but when he heard her Sakis approaching, then Krishna suddenly disappeared, and Radharani began to cry. Hanata, Ramana, Presta, Kwasi Kwasi Mahabuja, Dasyaste Kripanayame, Sake Dashaya Sannidim. Hanata, oh my Prananata, Lord of my prans, my life. Ramana Presta, the best of all Raman, lovers. Kwasi Kwasi, where are you? Where are you? Mahabhuja, with your strong arms. I will die unless you embrace me. You should embrace me at once, otherwise I'll die. Krishna, she heard in a sporty, Krishna said, it's too late now. I won't be able to come back in time, you'll die. So Radharani said, Dasya stay, Kripanayame, oh please be merciful to your Dasi. Krishna Prema Eka Apurva Prabhav Guru Samulagake Korai Dasya Bhav. Krishna Prema has one unprecedented characteristic, and that is it gives Dasya Bhav to everyone, whether they're Guru, Krishna's seniors, Lagu, Krishna's juniors, or Sama, Krishna's equals. So Dasya Bhav is common to all the Bhavs. So in separation, it's Madhurya Rasa, but Radhika feels, I am wretched. Dasya stay kripanayame. Please give mercy to this wretched Dasi. Krishna in a spurt, he said, look, I'm the son of a king. Why did you say, I said let's go over here. You said I'm too tired, you should carry me. I'm the son of a king. You should not order me to carry you around. Yeah? So then Radhika says, Dasya stay kripanaya. Sake dasya sanidim. But you served me so closely like a saka, like an equal, that I was feeling in that way. Darshaya Sannidhi, please come back at once and give me your darshan. So actually, you know where Radharaman manifested? There's the place, the Prakatstali of Radharaman. Right? You know that place? So that's the very tree where Krishna disappeared. And where Radhika called, Hanata Ramana! And she fainted there. And this is why Krishna has appeared as Radharaman from the Shalagram Shila of Gopal Bhatta Goswami in that place. So then Krishna disappeared, and then the gopis found Radhika unconscious on the ground. They sprinkled some water and brought her back to sense, and then they were searching here and there for Krishna, but could not find him. They thought, oh, this son of Nanda Maharaj is very tricky. If he doesn't want us to find him, then he'll be watching us, but as we go further into the forest looking for him, he'll recede further into the forest. So we don't want to give any pain to his soft lotus feet walking around in the jungle. So we should not look any further. Let's come on the bank of Jamuna and engage in that activity that may have a chance to bring Krishna back to us. What is that? Maha Sankirtan. So the gopis assembled on the bank of Jamuna and began to sing. Jayati Tayati Kam Janmana Praja. Gopi Gita. So then, at the last verse of Gopi Gita, when Radhika was about to die, really, she said, Kurpadi Vir Brahmatidi Bhavadayushamna. Oh Krishna, if I cannot serve you, then there's no need to stay alive. So though I am young and my astrological chart says I have so many years left in my life, but I don't need it. So I'm going to donate this Ayu to you, so you can have a longer life and be happy in Braj. Now I'm leaving. This is the meaning. Kurpadi Vir Brahmatidi Bhavad Ayusham Naha. Our Ayu, the remainder of our life, we're donating to you because we don't need it. And just as Radhika was about to give up her life, Krishna could not stop himself, and from his hiding place he came out. Tasam Avirabhutchori Smayamana Mukhambuja Pita Bharatarasnapi Sakshan Man Matamanmata. Very humble, smiling slightly because he's embarrassed. Holding his pitambar. That means when you make a mistake in Vedic culture, you have to take your cloth around your neck and hold it like this. So please forgive me for my mistake. And this is why Vaishnavas always wear one cloth, at least chadar, on the shoulder. Because it's the sign of the humility. I have made a great mistake. I am wasting my life. Hari Hari Bifali Janama Goini. Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nahapajiya. Janiya Suniya Vishakun Alas. So Krishna is also Galavastra Kitanjali Hoibe Jaha. He said, when will I come before a Vaishnava holding a cloth before my neck and begging for shelter and forgiveness for my foolishness and ignorance? So Krishna is doing Galavastra Kritanjali, holding the cloth in his hands and coming very humbly. And at that moment, Sakshan Manmata, he looks so beautiful. He never looked so beautiful ever in his life. Because he was panicking. He was thinking, what if I come back and the gopis don't accept me? So Yoga Maya helps him. Yanmachali lo paikai sayoga maya balam dashaita grihitam. Yoga Maya is the power to make the impossible possible. So Krishna at that moment had to look so beautiful, so charming, because he was afraid the gopis may not accept him. That Yoga Maya made Krishna so beautiful, it's impossible to be that beautiful. That's Sakshat Manmata Manmata. Beautiful. And also Manmata Manmata means that Krishna himself is Manmata. He is Cupid. But the heart of Krishna is being churned by Radhika. So that Krishna, who is more beautiful than Cupid, but his heart is in a complete turmoil, like a hurricane, like a cyclone, due to fear that Radhika will not accept him. He is Manmata Manmata. So Krishna came back. Then the Sakis of Radhika and other Sakis, they said, Krishna, please take a seat. We need to have a conversation. They're not just going to, you think he's just come back, they'll accept him like that? No, no, no. First, there should be an interrogation of his intentions. So it's a very, very deep conversation. We have a week, we can discuss that next time. But when Gopis asked him, what kind of lover are you? This is one of the answers he gave. Evam madatorti to loka veda swanam hivomai anuvritaya. Oh Braj Gopis, for me, Madarta, for me, urjita loka veda, you gave up the path of Dharma, you gave up, which is described in the Vedas. You gave up all shyness and fear of the villagers and your relatives and your husbands and mother-in-laws and everyone. You gave up all shyness and patience and everything. Why? Only for me. And why did I though you'd given up everything to me, why did I leave you? Swanami vomai anuvrittaye bala. Only to increase your eagerness. Just like when a poor person by chance finds a diamond worth millions of dollars, then but then if by accident he loses it, then he goes mad. And day and night he's just thinking, oh, my diamond, my diamond. Oh, my diamond. So in the same way, yathadana labdya danev dinaste that's chinte anandi britona veda. He doesn't know anything. So Krishna said, I disappeared only to increase your love. But then Krishna realized, I failed. I tried to play a joke on you. You know, lovers, they play jokes on each other. Oh, I'll hide and see what she does. Then I'll come out again and go, ha ha. This frame is like this. So he wanted, but what happens when he hid? Oh, gopis went into Divyun mad. They became mad in separation. They began enacting his pastimes. They even became black. Being absorbed in Krishna, they became Shankar. Krishna looked and thought, well, they love me, I love them, I'm trying to reciprocate with them. But when he saw the blazing fire of their separation, then he realized, I cannot reciprocate. So it was a mistake. But he's saying here, Masuyitam, don't have hostility against me. Forgive my offense. Why? Mata tat priyam priya, because I am your beloved and you are my lover. So where there's love, then if some offense is made, you don't take offense. You just, it's nothing. So Krishna is saying this. But here, the most important line, Maya praksham vajata tirohitam. Maya praksham means, Maya means by me. Aparoksham, secretly. Vajata tirohitam, I disappeared. I disappeared secretly, but don't become hostile to me. Don't be against me, I am your beloved. Now the deep meaning here is, that Krishna, though he's speaking to all the gopis, there's an inner meaning which is only about Radhika. So, Ma, the word Ma means Lakshmi. But in, like the word Madhav, Dav means husband. Madhav, Madhav, the husband of Ma. You see? Ma can mean also no. So Krishna is Madhav. No, you're not my husband. So, but Ma is Lakshmi. Not only Rama, but also Ma means Lakshmi. And in the instrumental case, it becomes short A but long A, Maya. So it means with Ma, with Radhika. Maya paroksham. Aparoksh means secretly. I secretly disappeared with Radha. I secretly disappeared with Radha. Why? Because I had Tatsuk Sukhi Bhav. Such a mood. I only wanted to give happiness to her. Tatsuka Sukhi Bhav. But then, Bhajatati Rohitam, then I disappeared. When I disappeared, then I became the Shat Nayak. There's Nayika, the heroine, and Nayak, the hero. So Krishna is the embodiment of 96 different types of hero. Rupa Goswami describes. But 4 are prominent. Dear Lalit, Dear Ashant, Dear Udatta, and Drishta. And then these also divided into 4. Dirudata and Dirudhata. Then these are divided into 4. Shat, Drisht, Anukul, and Lalit. Shat, Drisht, Anukul, Dir Lalit. So, and Dakshina. Shat, Drisht, Anukul, and Dakshina. Correct. So, among these, Krishna is sometimes Shat. That is the hero who does things that sometimes offend or give pain to the heroine. So Krishna disappeared. He manifested his Shatnayakatva, and it gave pain to Radharani. So Krishna is apologizing here that I was just giving you happiness, but then my Shatnayakatva came, and so I have some dosh. I have some fault in me of Anyavilas. There's some Anyavilas dosh in me, some other desire. I wanted to see how you would react in separation and drink the nectar of your Viraha Vilap. How you cry, how you speak and express, how you love that you are hiding. When your heart, Radhika never speaks directly her love. In Braj, no one says I love you. Actually, if anyone says I love you, that means they're lusty and they love themselves. Where there's love, the voice becomes choked, you cannot express it. And it comes out in another way. But in separation, the heart breaks and the love pours out. Krishna, I said I wanted to hear that Viraha Vilap. And that's why I became Shatnayaka and I disappeared. And I was drinking that. Please forgive me for my Anyavilas dosh. But Bhajata Tirohitam, at that time when I disappeared, Bhajata, I was still worshipping you. Aparoksh now means indirectly. Because Krishna was watching everything Radhika's doing and just trembling. Oh, I have never seen such love before. Lalita Gatibilasa Pauhasa Pranaya Nirikshta Kalpiturumana Kritamanu Kritavatta Unmadanda Prakritima Kila Yasya Gopa Vadvaha. Vadu also is the name of Radharani, appears many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is spoken by Bhishma. He said that at the time of Raslila, when gopis became mad in separation, were imitating Krishna's pastimes. When Krishna saw that, then Agan Prakrin Kila Yasya Gopa Vadvada. Though Krishna is Siddha, he's perfect. When he saw the love in separation of gopis, he was changed forever. And that Krishna who was Siddha became Susiddha, more perfect. Krishna cannot know, he cannot realize himself without experiencing Brajagopi's praying, especially Radhika's praying. So here he's saying, Maya, here Maya means, oh Ma, oh goddess of fortune of Braj, the Lakshmi of Braja, I disappeared with you to enjoy pastimes with you, aparoksham, alone, out of tatsuk sukhi bhav. But then, due to my own fault of anyavilas dosh, I became shatnayaka, vajata tirohitam, and I also left you. But at that time, I was always also doing your bhajan, aparoksh, indirectly, by relishing your viraha vilap. So masuyatam, please don't be hostile towards me. Tat priyam priya, I am your lover and you are my beloved. Bole Vrindavan Vihari Lal ki jai, Bole Saniwali ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. More sweeping, come. For 3-4 classes, I made you taste Siddhanta to increase your digestion power. But from now on in this festival, only rasa. So, I will continue in the evening, and we want to say something also about the glories of Sakis and Lalita, because it's Lalita Saptami today.
Thank you.
We'll sing one little kirtan. Close your eyes and come on the bank of Jamuna, where this beautiful river is taking place. Oh, do you know? Radha Ramana, Ambu Janayana, Radharaman, who appeared there in the Raslila, Ambu Janayan, he has eyes like the lotus petals. Gopi Paranadhana, he is the life and soul of all Braj Gopis. Manmata, Manmata. And he's so beautiful, he's impossibly beautiful. Because he's most beautiful when his heart is full of fear that Radhika may not accept him. The vulnerable Krishna. So we'll sing this.